Lovey podcast, where we believe entrepreneurs are the new influencers. If you are trying to build your brand, your business, and your influence, you are in the right place. This is your one-stop shop to learn everything you need to learn about how to expand your reach, your income, and your impact. Let's dive in.
Hello. This is Kimberly Lovey. Welcome to Greenroom. I am recording this podcast live from Greenroom, which is Spotify's new drop-in audio app. And I'm going to educate everyone and answer questions on what is Greenroom? What is this? And should we be on it? Okay. For the last few days, I have been sitting here on Greenroom just trying to soak it all in, learn as much as I can, and understand what this is all about. So I'm going to break it down for you, starting from the beginning. Okay, so Greenroom is Spotify's drop-in audio app. It originated when a company called Betty Labs had created an app called Locker Room, which was basically for sports. It was like a kind of whoever's team you like, you could be in that group and you could talk about the sports games that were going on. And essentially, Locker Room was in the App Store in November 2020 and was in beta prior. And then Spotify came in March of 2021 and acquired it. And here we are. They basically renamed it and launched it on January 16th. So just on Wednesday, I was there for the day one launch, and it was very, very interesting that day. And so people are really excited about this app, you guys. And the reason for that is manyfold. It's everything from specific features that people are liking that are in this app versus what is lacking in Clubhouse. But I'm going to break it down for you from my perspective. So here's the reason why I'm very bullish or positive, kind of hopeful is a good way of saying it. The reason why this is so important, in my opinion, and the reason why I'm all here for the Spotify app is because Spotify has something Clubhouse just does not have and will never have. They have distribution. So basically, Spotify has, I don't remember the exact number, 250 million, some amount, but a significant amount of listeners. They obviously are huge on music. They are second to Apple in podcasting. They have Anchor, and they just have the ability to get advertising spend and therefore, really monetize for the content creators at the end of the day. So for me, this is huge because so many people are sitting on Clubhouse waiting for brand sponsorships or something meaningful to come along to really validate kind of their time on the app. And it just isn't really happening as fast as people would like against the amount of time that they're investing. So I'm going to give you guys that's sort of like your broad overview. But the other thing is the actual just how does it work? So what are the features? How is it different than Clubhouse? And I've been sitting here for the last 72 hours pretty much listening and being on stage and speaking with legacy Locker Room users and big Clubhouse users and huge influencers. So I'm here to kind of break it down for you guys, kind of what I've gathered. Keep in mind, this is brand new. We're on day 3 right now. It is Friday the 18th. So there is a lot that will come to change. So this is your kind of rundown, quick win, quick hit for what is Greenroom on day 3. Okay. So with that, there's a couple key features and things to note. When you go into a room on Greenroom, there is only one moderator. Okay. So there are many people that can come on stage, but there's only one moderator. They actually call it a host. And that is the one person that has the ability to actually bring people up on stage and push you back down to stage. Now, that host does not have the ability to mute other people, which is interesting. So nobody can mute anyone else at all. The other major feature is there is a back chat that is open to everyone. So it's not really a back chat, but I guess it is. But there's an instant messaging feature that it's like an open discussion that you can be having in Greenroom. So another big thing is that you can actually add links to your bio, or you can add links in the discussion. So this is huge. If you are someone that sells a course, or you are pushing someone, the end users or listeners, to a website, or just really have any external resources that you want to share, this is a game changer for us. So the fact that you can actually link to your website or to any kind of lead magnet that you have is a huge deal. The other thing that I will say about it is that you can only, in your actual profile, you don't have anyone that sponsors you. Like, you know how you have, you're like attached to whoever invited you. So it is no invites. It's open to everyone. And that's probably one of the biggest deals too, by the way. You don't have the ability right now to link to Instagram on your profile unless you put it in your bio. So your bio is also only 2 lines, by the way. That's another big thing. So basically, you have the ability to link your profile to either Twitter or YouTube. So for me, this is not good news because I don't have either of those, at least right now. If you want to link to your Instagram, what I recommend is you would just put it in your bio. So you do instagram.com/ and then your @ handle and do that. So yes, the moderators, it's really challenging for them to invite people or to bring people up on stage, in terms of if you like raise your hand in the audience and then you try and get up, you request to get on stage. The moderators have a really, really hard time right now seeing who did that. So they ask you usually to just put it in the chat. And sometimes they say, oh, beam me up, which is, I don't know, weird. But anyway, that is a thing. Okay. So feedback, if you want to see any changes to the app, they have feedback. So feedback is done by shaking your phone. And when you do that, it says send feedback. And when you click on it, it will actually screenshot where you are and say that you're reporting a person or a feature that you want to show them. Then you have the ability to edit that screen and show them. And from what we've seen so far, their development team is on top of this. They're adding new features constantly, and the developers are actually sitting in the rooms from Spotify, which is a huge deal. And they're listening, and they're constantly just trying to make updates. Like my first day, I had already seen a couple different updates come through. The other thing is the app is really glitchy right now. So if the app gets really glitchy, there's a couple things you can do, but the main one that people are doing right now is you put your phone on airplane mode and you turn off your Wi-Fi, and that will not move you from the stage. It will not kick you out of the room or anything, but it will allow you to just kind of reset. And then when you go back after a couple seconds, then you can go back and you should be able to continue on the functionality that you're hoping for. There's a lot of different hiccups happening right now. Some people are not able to mute, or they can't see themselves on stage. There's just a lot of little kind of bugs. So very buggy right now because there's so many people on the app. But, definitely just keep reporting it. You can also go to Twitter directly and find Greenroom on Twitter, Greenroom and Spotify. I don't know their exact handle, but like look it up. And basically you can reach out to them directly and they will respond directly. And I think the biggest other thing I'll say is, 2 other things I'll say is, there are no clubs on Greenroom. So they are already kind of pre-curated, and they're not called clubs, they're called groups. And right now there's very few groups. So that's something that we definitely want to make sure that we're getting more segmentation, just for different niches and things like that. Even when you initially join, they're going to push you to like join like NBA and like all these basketball and sports things. The other thing is, currently right now when you're on stage, it organizes people by last name. And that is because Legacy Locker Room was, again, all sports, which we all know sports is all like about the people's last names, right? So that's kind of that culture. I think that it's going to be changing. Supposedly that will be changing. So again, you can always report that, something that you want to see changed. You have the ability to record on Spotify or on Greenroom. So when you create a room, it will ask if you want to record. And then what happens is you toggle it on so that it's like basically yes, or just toggled on. And then it prompts you for the email that you want the file sent to. And then once you're done recording, the file will be sent to you by Betty Labs. And make sure that you don't miss it in your junk. It shouldn't be, but some people have missed it, and it should be like a .wave file. And people are saying that the sound quality is really good. And so a lot of podcasters are loving this because we can spend our time in a room and then repurpose content. Another thing that's used is people will do, say, like a live podcast interview, and then they'll bring guests up for Q&A, or you can be in the discussion and you can be asking, different questions, and then the podcaster can be asking those questions live. So it's very interesting. I'm very excited about it. They also have a program for creators that is open to everyone that you need to sign up for. I can link that in the show notes. It won't be open until, I believe, July, and it is monetizable. One other thing is about gems. So there's something called gems right now. And so gems are kind of like giving someone a high five if they make a great point. And what happens is when you're in a room, you will accumulate gems from people. It's almost like, oh, this person's adding a lot of value because so many people are like giving them like that fist bump or that high five, right? Or giving them the gems for whatever value that they've been adding in the conversation. Now, what happens is when you go to another room, say I accumulated a bunch of gems, what happens when I go to another room? It resets. But when you go into your actual profile, you'll see that all the gems earned from previous rooms are still accumulating on your profile. So it just resets for the room when you're looking at the stage. This is kind of visual and kind of hard to fully understand until you've seen it. But when you leave that room, it does reset. But don't worry, your gems are still accumulating permanently on your profile. So don't panic about that. The other bug that previously had existed has already been solved, which was when you leave and come back, you would leave and then come back and you'd be in the audience. So if you were on the stage and you left and you came back, then what would happen is you would be dropped to the audience and you'd have to be brought back up again, which is kind of annoying. So now if you leave and come back, then it's all good. You are still on stage. And when you receive a phone call, you are not kicked out of the app as well, and you can navigate away from the app and things like that. So with that, I hope that was a very, very helpful roundup. I will be hosting rooms. You cannot yet schedule rooms on your own, by the way, but I am going to go big and start really hosting quite a bit of conversation. So I cannot wait to form this community with all of you guys out there listening. I love you guys, and I know we are going to have so much fun. We are going to crush this app, so please come join me, and I will let you know when I'm going on next. Take care.
All right, that is it for today. Now, as you know, some of our best conversations actually happen after the show. So I want you to find me on Instagram at Kimberly Lovey and let me know your thoughts about today's show. You can screenshot this episode and let us know what your biggest takeaway was and tag me at Kimberly Lovey and we can share it on our stories. I will see you again, same time, same place next week.